Mizar, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so like we were saying before there just a minute ago, 2011, the Big Dog Comp in San Diego was at CrossFit Invictus, wasn't it?
It was. You're right.
Yeah, it feels
Beautiful
like
space.
yesterday.
Yes.
Nice. So how are things on your end? I know you're the owner of OPEX Montreal, right?
Correct. We're just affiliated since we were allowed to open up, with all these COVID restrictions. And, I think actually it was a change for the good, with the COVID distanciation, sharing equipment. To me, the group setting didn't make any sense. Not only with the programming, but also with, the safety protocols that we have in place. I didn't feel comfortable having, my clients doing, the same workout all the time, that they could be doing at home, with dumbbells. And because, how do you share a pull-up bar, or how do you share a barbell, or, even the GHD, do you need to clean it every repetition, or, so like all of those things that didn't make any sense. And I've been with OPEX since forever. Actually, when originally was known as OPT.
Yes. Yes.
They were based in Calgary, actually.
Yes.
So that's what's my first touch with James FitzGerald. Actually, was what we called the sanction events. Before it was actually the big sanction events, from CrossFit. So he organized one. We went there, and I used the trip in order for me to start his CCP, his coaching certification program. Yeah, that's how long it dates that I've been with the crew. I opened up my gym as a CrossFit gym originally, and with COVID, that's where I was like, look, this doesn't make any more sense. Deep down, I feel it's really the individual that matters. And with COVID, I think it's even more important to understand, where is the individual, what are their challenges, and where they wanted to go. So this was a perfect time to associate with, James and his team, and the group of coaches that believe into one person, one program, one prescription. So I think it has value today, with the context that we're living.
Is joint pain or stiffness affecting your quality of life? I personally suffered from knee and lower back pain from my training and hobbies. Since I started taking a scoop of Native Path's collagen every day, I noticed a significant improvement in my joint health. I am able to do more things I enjoy with those I love and care about. I personally recommend everyone try Native Path's collagen for joint recovery and for a variety of other health benefits. Native Path has generously offered all of our listeners 15% off by simply entering the code AISA15 at checkout. That's code AISA15 for 15% off your entire purchase. All of Native Path's products are high purity, organic, grass-fed, and clean. So check out all of the great products they have available at their website, nativepath.com.
So for the listeners, Mizar, can you explain the difference of what CrossFit is, or let's take the average CrossFit gym compared to an OPEX gym and the setting there? I know that there's a lot of people that don't know the difference, or they think that, like let's take with James's background that he was a CrossFitter, right? What is the difference? I know that we understand this, but for people listening, what's the difference between CrossFit and OPEX?
Yeah. And also, but before you answer that, did I catch you right? Were you a CrossFit gym for a while, and then recently you've changed and now you have a different business model?
Correct.
That basically happened over the last year with COVID.
Correct.
Okay, I see.
Well, it's been happening over the years.
Yeah, transitioning slowly.
Exactly, because I've always believed into the individual. And this is where when I started with the CrossFit wave. Like CrossFit started to be popular. Everybody could go to the games as long as you do the CrossFit.com workout of the day.
Yep.
So if you would follow that, 6 months, 1 year down the road, you'd be throwing down with Rich Froning and Matt Fraser and Annie Tottersdottir getting her first muscle up in the games. That was the dream that was being sold.
Yeah.
So, I always believe in health. I always believe in fitness. And as a gymnastic coach, as an engineer, as a, CrossFitter myself, as a martial artist, I saw many, many, many holes into the, teaching and coaching. And, that's where I see the James FitzGerald. So that's where I was starting to understand, basic principles of, coaching. And anyway, to talk to the difference between a CrossFit gym, which is one workout. Today we're going to do snatches and muscle ups. So if Susie has shoulder problems, well, maybe she's going to be doing PVC snatches and I don't know, jumping bar muscle ups or something like that. And then tomorrow we're doing 1 rep max overhead squats and weighted heavy dips. And Susie's going to do PVC overhead squats and I don't know, supports on the Matador or something like that, and it was always trying to accommodate the client as per to are they feeling, or, giving them the option of, look, this is the RX, that's the scale, try to figure it out on your own. So at first we were kind of doing that. And we were, what helped us is that we were a small CrossFit gym. So we were able to, first of all, do an assessment. And that's something that no one would do. An actual assessment, not an introduction class. And that's from the CMGP courses, that's from OPT, that's from James FitzGerald. And that's where I was starting to relate. And, when you're asking what was the transition, that was the transition. Deep down, I was like, look, this doesn't make sense that, I know this person has a shoulder problem, wants to lose weight, doesn't fucking care about me being to the regionals and doesn't want to go there, has 2 kids, sleeps like shit. Doesn't know how to eat properly, skip breakfast because they're doing intermittent fasting and it's more convenient for them. So, one of the differences is that, people come here and every individual has their own training. They've sat down with a coach, they've talked about their own objectives, they've done an assessment. So we really know if they have injuries, what's their past experience. For example, if you have, I don't know, I was going to say an Olympian or, forget about that, just someone that did gymnastics for, many years and know their body, they know how to squat, I can, start them where they're at, as opposed to a 40-year-old that hasn't moved. And, now they realize that, look, all of my biomarkers are off. I need to do something. What do I do? Has trouble touching their toes, has trouble, reaching overhead. It's not that weightlifting is bad for them or snatching. It's just that, fuck, you're far from being where you should be.
Yeah, there's other stuff to work on first.
Yeah, which I think
that everybody has holes.
Yeah,
that's where we agree with you a lot. I mean, we assess every client that comes into our gym as well, right, Josh?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's like the biggest proponent that we have is everybody's individualized. They all have their special, needs that they, the injuries or what they're going through. Like you said, the sleep health they may need help with, or nutrition health. It's not always just do more squats and lift heavier. So yeah, that's really big. And
yeah, in the early days of CrossFit, Mizar, like you were saying, it really sold the promise that you can be the next games champion, and that intensity rules all else, right? Faster, heavier, and you're better and fitter, right? But that wave did its thing. And then the injuries started happening, and then people got frustrated with the term that they use, like scaling, like what you were saying. If you have a tweaked shoulder, you can't do a muscle up, then go stand in the corner and do double unders or something. Like, there's no science or thought process behind the program design, right? And when we say program design, we're talking about everything we just mentioned, the reps, sets, rest, exercises, progression, sleep, food, and all of that is really, really highly individualized. And that's what you're doing at OPEX Montreal, right?
correct. Really, basically the whole point is to create sustainable habits. And this is where we want to enlighten individuals of what are those, because we forget about the basic needs. What are our basic needs as human beings? If you think, I love this quote from James, happy, hungry, horny.
Yes,
That's health.
I live by that.
Same. That's it saved my life, to be honest. You know, I burned out when I was an engineer, and you know, I recognized, look, my libido is not there anymore. In the morning, particularly, you know, I don't feel like getting up. You know, I don't feel like going exercising. You know, and those are things that are, you know, part of my human being, or part of who I am. You know, even practicing martial arts. You know, the day that I don't feel like going to the gym or practicing or kicking or whatever, you know those things.
Yep.
You know who you are as an individual. You know how, you know, intuitively you're a happy person. You know, intuitively you find beauty in things. And you know, as you get deeper into the dark hole, you know, it's less and less those things that, you know, you find joy and happiness and well-being or fulfillment. So that was a big awareness moment for me. And this is what I realized. Look, you know, thank God I have these mentors that are guiding me to bring awareness to that, because my mentality was the same. I need to do more. No pain, no gain. You know, you need to suffer in order to get to your goals. You need to outwork everybody. And that's where, you know, I love the mentality that, you know, yeah, you need to work for sure. No one is going to give you things for granted. You know, you're not just going to achieve elite level just by looking at the mirror or watching YouTube or, you know, scrolling on Facebook. You know, it's really, you need to put your work in, but it needs to be smart work. You know, as a gymnast, I don't fucking need to do chest to bar pull-ups every day, all day, and ring muscle ups. You know, but I need to work on strength and developing technique in weightlifting, because I never touch a bar in my life. Right. And those are things that I really liked about my own progression, and brought that awareness of, look, if I am an elite athlete that did gymnastics at a high level, you know, how come these individuals are trying to do these movements that are not ready to do? You know, like even before it was popular to do strict work, you know, strict pull-ups, strict dips, you know, I was getting heat from that, because no, you're not teaching us how to kip, and you know, I want you to teach me how you're doing your butterfly pull-ups and your kipping muscle ups. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't even get your ass up to the bar, you know, you can't.
When you had this aha moment, you said you were all burnt out for a little while and you had to kind of readjust your mindset and your habits. What are some of the things that you did that changed things for you and got you to a healthier state and got your energy levels back up? Like, what were some of the things that you changed?
Doing less.
Less? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Recognizing that, you know, this is where I go back to the relationship with a coach, or the relationship with a mentor, the relationship with someone that has gone through, not necessarily through those same steps, but at least has some experience in there, you know, because I believe we're just following, you know, we're all experts on internet and Facebook, and oh, how can I do in order to increase my libido, or, you know, my testosterone level, and take this supplement. And yet you're forgetting that you're getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep. You know, you're drinking coffee. I was drinking coffee like 8, 10 cups a day to stay awake. You know, I felt my stomach was off. You know, yeah, thank God I had someone helping me with nutrition, you know, and, you know, the fact that I had a trainer, the fact that I had a nutritionist, the fact that, you know, I was investing a lot of money into my performance helped me understand that, you know, that at one point I really recognized that I wasn't able to push where I was pushing. You know, one point I failed like a clean at 135 pounds. You know, my max at the time was 275. So I was like, look, there's something off. I don't understand what it is, but something needs to happen, because I'm not the person I used to be. And most of it was the mental aspect, that I didn't feel like doing things that I love to do. And to me, that was the main awareness point. Is like, I know I'm not depressive, or, you know, like, you know, for sure we all have like dark thoughts once in a while, but that's not who I am deep down. You know, I'm a lighter person. You know, I like to laugh. I like to have a good time, you know, and I wasn't that person anymore. So that was my aha moment, where like, look, I'm procrastinating to get my training in. I am failing lifts that, you know, they're warm-up sets. And that was my look, let's stop. I got in touch with my coach. I got in touch with a doc. We ran some tests, and that was like, you know, the scientific aspect of, okay, let's stop, you know, playing around, and let's see the actual changes that need to happen. You know, and if I'm honest, you know, I was working 60 hours a week as an engineer. I was traveling, you know, all over Canada and Mexico. I was training 2-3 times a day. I was getting ready for sanction events, you know, and up to a point, it took me actually 4 years and a half.
Mm.
And that's, we were talking about how long did it take before you get injured? How long does it take before you ride that beautiful wave of like, look, I'm doing CrossFit, things are good, look at my six pack, and then look, I cannot lift it up anymore, and having shitty sleep, having anxiety, eating is not the same, and you start seeing changes in your body. So that was the main aspect where, when you look at the mirror, that's when James helped me ask those hard questions, in the sense, okay, you're fucking working 60 hours a week for what? Well, I like the security. I like the financial aspect. Okay, now what are you doing with that money? Well, nothing, because I'm, exhausted. I'm in bed. Okay, well, great. So you cannot train, you have money in your bank account, and you're not motivated to do anything.